facility to make gratings, and he says they might be as good as 1 micron period. World-class gratings. I say that we're going to use the gratings at Berlin. That way a German facility is making gratings for another German facility. They're all happy, but there'll be a little time of a few months where they'll drift over to America for testing. So we might have an option for commercialization. Now, I told you I worked for the National Science Foundation as a program officer. I still feel this obligation to tell the science community about what I learned at NSF. And so here's this new, relatively new, maybe 6 years old, program called I-Core, Innovation Core. Most of the federal funding agencies have support for small businesses, SBIR, Small Business Innovation Research. Most of these agencies have learned that if they give a startup one of these SBIR grants, it's usually wasted. People screw up. The problem is, everyone is good with the technology, but you actually don't know who the customers are. So this is what the I-Core program does. You write a 2-page thing to them saying, I have this ideal, I think I know who the customers are. They internally review it, they invite you they talk to you over the phone conference. And Godfrey and I are part of the way through this. We proposed that we think there's a market for these interferometers and commercial tomography systems, additive manufacturing and such. And so we wrote the 2-page, we got the phone interview in early January. They needed some more follow-up paperwork. We submitted that 5-page stuff 3 weeks ago. They asked for more information, so they're at the point that if I was still a program officer, I'd be talking down to the accountant and say, release the check now. So I don't have the check, but we think we're going to get the check. What that means is that we'll start an 8-week program, Los Angeles in mid-April. 3 of us, me, Godfrey, and a retired businessman who is our business mentor, who kind of likes to, he just likes to do stuff. He used to work in an engineering college. And we're going to do 3 days of training at Los Angeles about how to talk to a customer. And then this is where it's really tough. We got to go talk to 100 potential customers and write up little reports on each of those things. And they say that when you've done this, you really will know whether or not there is a market for your thing. And they say that the success rate of SBIRs into small businesses goes from small to 30–50%. And it's not that hard to get this project going. So keep it in mind. So he's a postdoc. This is the second one I've been associated with. I had an undergraduate in my lab a few years ago, and we talked about this. And he didn't have a faculty mentor, and it wasn't convenient with my schedule to do this, so I found him a mentor. And he couldn't find a business mentor, so I found him one of them. So I put together the team, and he wrote the thing, and they got funded, and he flew from LSU, spent a lot of time in Ohio, Boston, New Orleans, Michoud Space Center facility, and he had a great time. He went from a shy student, you haven't asked me any questions yet. He went from a shy student, after about 10 of these cold call business things, he got into being very confident, calling up a stranger saying, I want to talk to you about a business ideal I got. He pulled that off, and then went to he wanted to go to Penn State for grad school. This was on his resume, got into Penn State. So what I've told you about is we've got 2 of these interferometry systems. Oak Ridge will have one, I hope. And I think it really will show up in medical. Japanese are doing some clinical trials. The Munich guys are talking about starting clinical trials on lungs. I think it will have many applications to chemistry. The I-Core will give you $50,000 to fly around the country, or do it. And I like Cloverleaf is word processing software. A lot of funding agencies to thank, and a lot of nice people that I'm working with. Thank you for your attention.
Are there any questions for our speaker?
Well, this is way above my head.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is. This